Field, I come to you right now. I'm ready to go. You tell me no. You just had a big speech with that big speech in my room. You're like, do the right thing. Well, I'm here right now. Well,
that was 2 weeks ago. You had your chance. You had your chance and you blew it. We're doing Copland.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're entering Forgotten Cinema. That's right, I changed it up. Each episode we had a film that for a variety of reasons was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because of more popular movies released at the same time or the film simply didn't catch on with audience its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy Forgotten Cinema, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We're everywhere. We're available on all platforms. That's the podcast with a backlog of over 250 episodes for your listening pleasure. What are you typing?
I didn't read my notes.
Butler's ready and prepared to go to talk about Copland. Woo! Mike, what's going on?
I don't know if you remember, but about 20-something years ago, 30 years ago, I dove into the river to save a girl from a car that went over a bridge.
I don't remember that.
I had that lifelong dream of being a cop, but I was deaf in that one ear.
Right.
I got that bad ear.
Then you got fat.
You
got fat.
I did. That's true. And then, so I couldn't be a New York City cop. So, I ended up being the sheriff of this town that's, pretty much 100% cop.
Copland.
Copland,
USA.
Yeah, so I'm the sheriff there, but everyone's a cop. So I let them speed. I let them drink. I let them make noise, dump trash on other people's lawn. Go around, screw whoever they want.
Right.
Yeah,
it's dump trash.
It's nuts. I don't do much. I feel like I seem a little slow. I drink a lot and play pinball. I just steal from parking meters, apparently.
Yeah, you're pathetic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad.
You're bordering on pathetic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm over that.
We'll get into that. We'll talk all about that. Let's get into the facts, and then, like I said, we'll get into all that fun stuff. Copland has a runtime of 105 minutes. It's rated R. Production budget of $15 million. Release date was Friday, August 15th, 1997. Opening weekend, it did $13.5 million. Its domestic total is $45 million. International, $19 million. For a worldwide total of $64 million. The production company was Woods Entertainment, and it was distributed by Miramax Films. That's right. This is the Weinstein brothers. Dun, dun, dun. So I said this film came out on the 15th. Let's go back a week to the 8th, August 8th, 1997. You had a wide release of Conspiracy Theory, which was our last episode of the original run of Forgotten Cinema.
It was our series finale.
Yes, Mike cried a lot. Free Willy 3, The Rescue, and How to Be a Player. The 15th, when this film came out, it went up against a wide release of Event Horizon, another movie we did, and Steel, which we will not do, and a limited release of The Full Monty.
I'll tell you whether we'll do Steel.
We are not doing Steel, and I will not be dipped in shit and rolled in breadcrumbs. August 22nd, the week after, we did a wide release of Mimic, Money Talks, G.I. Jane, Leave It to Beaver, and Masterminds, and then a limited release of A Smile Like Yours. You saw G.I. Jane, I know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Mimic.
Did you see the Leave It to Beaver remake?
I did also. I did see that as well, yeah.
Not memorable. I know you saw Masterminds. That's with Picard.
Oh, yeah.
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 So
I've seen a lot of these.
Butler was busy that weekend.
I mean, I didn't see them all in that weekend. I think I was probably... When did this movie come out?
97?
Yeah.
So you were
so I was
9 or 10.
9 or 10, yeah, depending, yeah. So,
this film Copland was written and directed by James Mangold, who's nominated for 2 Oscars, Ford vs. Ferrari and Logan. He also did Walk the Line, Identity, Girl Interrupted. More recently, he's got the movie coming out, or it's probably out already, A Complete Unknown, which is about Bob Dylan. And the movie we did, Identity.
There
you go. I said it already.
And the last James Bond movie.
And we didn't do
the last and the last Indiana Jones film.
Yeah, well, we didn't do it in the show.
No.
All right.
But it's Indiana Jones.
Cinematographer was Eric Allen Edwards, who's done To Die For, Clay Pigeons, an episode we did, and another episode we did, Flirting with Disaster.
Oh, man, we have done a lot of.
I don't know. I have to stop saying the episode we did. Composer was Howard Shore, who won an Oscar for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and he won 2 Oscars for score and song for Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. He was also nominated for an Oscar for Hugo. Edited by Chris McKay, who was nominated for 2 Oscars, Reds and The Silence of the Lambs, and he also did Philadelphia. Produced by Kathy Conrad, Ezra Swedlow, and Kerry Woods. Conrad has done the Scream series, Citizen Ruth, and Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which is an upcoming episode in season 20. Swedlow has done The January Man, and he was an executive producer on Alien 3. And Woods has done Kids, and he was an executive producer on Swingers. Get ready for the cast, Butler.
I'm gonna go get some dinner. I'll see you guys later.
Ooh. Are you really living? Sly Stallone as Freddie Heflin. Jesus, Heflin.
Are you off to a great start?
I know. Do you know that he's been nominated for 3 Oscars?
Rocky. That's all I got.
You're close. You're very close.
Rambo.
No.
Rocky, and Rocky.
He was nominated for writing and acting for Rocky and for Creed for playing Rocky.
Oh, I forgot he was nominated for Creed. Yep.
He's also in the Tulsa King series, which is out right now, and he did the Expendables amongst a bunch of other things. Rambo, as Mike said, First Blood. Harvey Keitel as Ray Donlin, who was nominated for an Oscar for Bugsy. He is also in Reservoir Dogs, Bad Lieutenant, and Pulp Fiction. Ray Liotta as Gary Figgis, or Figgies, or whatever he calls Goodfellas. Narc, which is an episode upcoming for us. No Escape. And the movie Hannibal, he gets his brain eaten out.
I love that scene.
De Niro as Mo Tilden. That was my De Niro in the beginning of this episode. He has 9 nominations. He's won twice. Give me those films.
The ones he won for?
Obviously.
Godfather Part 2, I believe.
Correct.
And then, did he win for Silver Linings Playbook?
No.
He was nominated, though.
Yes. You never got me down. You never got me down. Yeah.
Raging Bull. Yeah, okay.
You never knocked me down, right?
Raging Bull.
Peter Berg as Joey Randone from The Last Seduction. I'm waiting for you to tell me that was an episode we did for The Last Seduction.
Oh, that episode we did.
Very Bad Things. Fire in the Sky.
An episode we did.
And the TV show Chicago. Oh, he's also director.
Which we're doing.
What?
A movie
Did we?
Are we doing a movie?
Peter Berg movie?
I think we're doing another one. I don't know. Peter Berg keeps popping up on this.
Janine Garofalo as Detective Deputy Cindy Betts.
Another person who keeps popping up on the podcast. We must be going through her entire 90s filmography at some point.
Mystery Men.
Another episode. I just, yeah.
Reality Bites and Wet Hot American Summer. Robert Patrick.
Michelle High School Reunion. Another movie.
And that's about to get a sequel.
I'm okay with that.
Robert Patrick as Jack Rucker from The Faculty. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. He's also in Fire in the Sky.
Another movie.
And the TV show X-Files. He plays Doggett in the last 2 seasons. Michael Rapaport as Murray Babbage from Beautiful Girls.
Another movie we did.
True Romance and Higher Learning. Annabelle Sciorri as Liz Randone. I know I said her name wrong. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And from the TV show, she's in a season of The Sopranos. Noah Emmerich as Deputy Bill Geisler. The Truman Show. Super 8.
Another movie we did.
Beautiful Girls.
Another movie we
did. Which I said already. And Miracle, which I watched every once in a while, the speech that Kurt Russell does in Miracle when he tells them, he's like, I am tired of hearing about the Soviets. Like when he talks to them, that pops on. I watch it like every maybe month or so. I'm like, yeah. Now go out there and take it. You're like, all right, anyway. Kathy Moriarty as Rose Donlin from Casper. Soap Dish, which is an episode upcoming, I believe, and Raging Bull as well. John Spencer as Leo Kraske from the TV show The West Wing. He plays Leo McGarry in West Wing. He's also in The Rock and War Games. Frank Vincent as PDA President Lazaro from The Sopranos and Casino. There's a lot of people from The Sopranos film. Malik Yoba as Detective Cars. Don't fall asleep. Detective Cars from Cool Runnings and New York Undercover, the TV show. Edie Falco, I just said, there's a lot of people from Sopranos in there. As Berta, the bomb squad person.
Oh,
you didn't even recognize her?
I didn't recognize her. I'm like, I know her from
now
somewhere.
I'm glad that I went through the entire list here. I am glad that I went through this list.
Just so you can get to Edie Falco and her 2 minutes of screen time.
Method Man's in here. Bruce Altman, Tony Sirico, which you don't see because I'm pretty sure Toy Torillo's stuff got cut out.
Yeah, he's just a clipping in 2 news articles.
Who cares? I was like, oh, Paulie's in this. Paulie Walnuts. No, not in it. All right, that's it. Whew.
Good God, man.
I know. All right. You had not seen this film?
I have seen it, but a long time ago.
Obviously on like VHS or DVD or something like that.
It's probably around the time of like I would watch Striking Distance.
Right. Hit me with it. Come on.
Well, it's like the complete opposite of the last week's film. Like Walter Mitty is like everything that's good. This is the most jaded downer of a film. Like although I guess there are similarities between Walter Mitty and
Oh wow.
and Sylvester Stallone's character, like Freddie Heflin. There are some similarities in like a life unfulfilled and a dream unseen, like kind of a thing. But oh my God, this is such a jaded about cops, jaded about life, jaded about New York, jaded about the law, jaded about like justice, jaded about your dreams, jaded about your hopes, like your love. Everything is just like, holy crap, what a downer of a movie. It's also overly complicated and a little kind of like dumb at times.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I remember, I think I've said this before. My experience with this film was that I watched this at a screening that we didn't know we were going to watch this film. We went to Fairfield Cinemas and it was like, oh, we're going to watch this sneak preview of this movie. And we had no idea what it was. And it was Copland. We're like, oh, wow. We had known it was being made. Right. And the rumor was that De Niro and Keitel were in the audience behind us. I never saw them, so who knows?
I think you did say that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the movie wasn't done yet. So the version that we watched was longer. It had scenes that had been taken out of it. And had music that they did not have permission for yet. So it was just kind of like filler music, like music in there.
Right.
So that they could use it. I think I told you like they had a Biggie song in there. And then the couple in front of the couple next to him, we was all nervous because the two guys in front of us were singing along to the Biggie song. It's like, calm down.
Yep.
But there's a scene there's a scene that they cut out that where the Biggie song plays, where the cops are playing softball or something. And these two young black men are driving through town and they're playing, the music's loud. That's the song they're playing a Biggie song. And the cops like stop them, but they're not cops. They just stop them and they plant drugs into they put drugs into them so that Freddie, and you hear Robert, I just remember Robert Patch like, Freddie, check his pockets, Freddie, check his pockets. And like Freddie arrests them and stuff like that. So it's kind of like shows you a little bit about like what like that in action, like what they do in that town to keep it from whatever.
Oh, to keep the okay, so
you know what I mean?
A little bit more overt than just
I always
like under the bridge,
right?
Complaining.
I always thought that was a good. I didn't understand why they removed that scene because I thought you kind of needed that kind of scene like that to really show just how corrupt they pushed Freddie. Yeah, how corrupt, but how they pushed Freddie around and how people like don't go to like they talk about how the crime's down because nobody comes here, like stuff like that.
Yeah, no one wants to talk. Yeah,
right. So I thought that was I was interesting to see. I'm surprised they cut it out and whatever. But I always remember that scene, and I wonder if it's in the extended version because I know there's an extended version out there. I never watched it. I always wonder if that was a scene that stayed back in there. So
right, yeah.
So yeah. No, and I remember liking this film. And watching it a second time now, well, there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't understand. Like I don't.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I can't, like there's stuff in this movie. I guess one of my bigger notes is that the cops that live in this town, it's Garrison, New Jersey, which is not a real town. And this is not a real thing. Cops cannot live. Apparently, New York City cops are not allowed to live outside of New York City. Like that thing in the beginning that De Niro says where, he got his buddies to be transit cops so that because the transit authority covers Connecticut and New Jersey. That can live outside of the city. Right. Right. That's not, I don't believe that's true either. I think what Mo Tilden says, De Niro's character is like, I don't have jurisdiction outside of New York City, which is why they can't live outside. I believe that's right. I think that's a legit thing. Again, I don't know. That's what I read in the notes. If that's wrong, if that's changed, just, let Mike know because I don't know. But anyways, so this idea that they're so blatant with what they do. They're so out in the open with how they talk, with what they talk about, with it. It's like is the idea that is everybody in this town just in on it?
That's the thing. Is like every cop's corrupt. Every single cop.
In the town. Like in the town.
Yeah. That's full of 1,250 people.
1280. Okay, but that's my point. Like, not everybody in the town can be a cop, right? Not everybody in the town works for the New York.
Bartenders and hairdressers.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, they're okay with I guess what I'm saying is, I know that nobody's going to go off and just blab and be like, "Oh my God, you hear what happened?" Like, they're afraid, but like, people gossip. It's human nature.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they're not so protective of how they behave. The officers, the bad cops.
No, 100%. And like the whole thing is like Freddie's supposed to be a good guy in a bad situation, but like like that. I think that scene where he's like, he finds makes it even worse. But like Freddy's so super complicit. Like, and I don't understand what I'm supposed to think about Freddy. The movie, I maybe that's purpose, but it's like I don't know if I like Freddy because I don't think Freddy's a good person.
So this is the question that popped up for me, and I don't know if I even questioned this back then. Is Stallone the right fit for Freddy?
No, I think he's all right. It's interesting to say pull up, but you've seen Stallone play like Rocky, a loser before. And he's just kind of playing the same. I think, I read the note that Ray Liotta wanted to play Freddy originally and that Stallone wanted to play Figgis.
Yeah.
I think that would have been way more interesting. Stallone playing that character would have been outside his comfort zone, would have been more interesting. And Ray Liotta playing the
is he playing him drugged out?
When Ray Liotta plays Freddy?
Right.
No.
He's playing him.
I think
dumpy.
Play him dumpy, but like a good guy. I think that would be a much better, more interesting role.
I just don't know the motivation behind the way Stallone is portraying Freddy.
He's playing him like Rocky.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying when I say I don't understand the motivation, I don't know how much notes he's getting from Mangold about Freddy, or how much he's being like, oh, I'm going to do it like this, like how much he's bringing to like. I'm sorry, but like, and that's great that he gained 40 pounds for the. I know my first thought was like, you fat bastards, and that's great that he gained the weight. But Stallone with 40 pounds still looks formidable. You know what I mean? He doesn't look meek enough so that somebody like Keitel.
Oh, no one can push him around.
Yes.
Well, I think that's why he plays him a little too stupid, a little too slow.
But he also like
I don't believe he could ever have been a cop. Yeah. Not just the ear.
And there's moments where like he's just like sitting there staring through windows at people, like creeping.
He's Lenny. He's Lenny from Of Mice and Men, and that's why I don't understand. It's because of your ear you can't pass, but you pass the exam. Like, no, this guy doesn't pass exams. He's either so complicit and stupid or just so stupid that he doesn't know he's complicit.
So I think this role needs somebody like a Paul Giamatti, somebody who is a great actor, but when you look at him would not.
Keitel stands up, he goes, oh crap.
And
yeah,
because
someone who would make a better detective than a cop, but he's stuck as a cop. Yeah.
Right. I think there needs to be more to the Freddy character than just like kind of coming off as really stupid. I know he's not, because I know he's solving the case.
He solves the case and he's looking through the files.
I know he's not, but I can't help but like question, like, I don't know if Stallone is the right fit for the role. I just don't think. And Stallone is great as Rocky. Stallone has his best moments are as Rocky in terms of his performance. First Blood, he's good. And I'm not knocking Stallone as an actor, because like I remember even in Rocky Balboa, he's got that speech where he talks about how life knocked you down. You get like that's a great speech. Yeah. And he wrote Rocky, so like he's got that character on lockdown. I just don't know if he doesn't have that same grasp of Freddy. As you talk about, you think he's just playing Rocky.
He's just playing dumb. Yeah. And I think that's because he's got to find a way to be meeker than Keitel. And it's like, well, then I'm dumber than Keitel. And it's like, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know where the conversation is, what the note is, how they're trying to I don't know what Mangold's telling him he wants to play, or this is the younger James Mangold. He's not really as he is now, where he's like,
it's possible that Stallone just gonna like, I'm gonna do it this way.
He might just defaulting to Stallone, and I get that.
As a younger director, all these guys are like legends that he's worked with, and that's got to be intimidating.
And that's my other question: is there too many names in this film? Are there like when a movie, and like all these people did this for scale? They did this movie for scale so that they can keep the budget low. But I think at some point, when I know it's hard to say no to have every great actor, all these actors that you know be in this film that want to work with you. I know it's hard to say no, but at some point, like when your cast list is all these people,
it becomes a gimmick.
It feels like it feels like it pulls away from like Freddy should be unknown. If you have all these people that are like bigger than, you know what I mean, like DeNiro,
that would work, because even in your head, then they're intimidating just because they're stars.
I think that's something you need to understand in casting, is you need to put somebody in there that is great, but nobody knows yet that they're great, and they're gonna know here.
Freddy's a woman.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, like Edie Falco's young, so if like Edie Falco or Jean Garofalo is playing that,
right?
Jean Garofalo's a name back then, so you can't really. Yeah, no, yeah, I think so. I think that's
more interesting. But I think even the Ray Liotta thing, because you're expecting him to be bad, but he's good, and Stallone playing the Ray Liotta, and you're expecting him to be good, but he's a strung out, accident like manslaughtered, arsonist, and it's just like,
Right.
oh, okay, I think that works really well. But the way, I'm just watching a dumber Rocky Balboa trudge around trying to solve a case.
Right.
It's just really weird. But even the cops like just do such stupid things. And the movie bounces around to the point where there's just so much stuff happening that just doesn't really go anywhere. Like,
it's such a simple story that they make complicated.
Yeah, Peter Berg and Harvey Keitel's wife are boning on the side. And it's like, why do I need that? He could just be a not present husband to Freddie's crush.
There's no resolution to that. And that resolution of what happens is not like, because when he sees him, when Keitel's character Donlin sees the Berg character, was it Johnny? Frankie? Hang on, I got it. I got you. It's Joey.
Joey, yeah.
When he sees him on the roof hanging, he like shuts the door and like he's like, oh, I can't get this open. Like, you don't know if he might still survive that. So there's no guarantee that he's gonna die.
But it's like, the thing is, like, he lets him die, but he lets him die not because he's boner,
but because he
speaks up about how it's not right that they're trying to kill Superboy.
He walked in on them that happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, it doesn't, like, why does that plot have to exist? Why do I have to know about the trash being piled up? Just so I can get a scene between Freddie and Liz? There couldn't be in a more organic, like, he already found the turtle. Yeah. I don't know why we have to have all these scenes with all these different, like, small plot lines that go nowhere happening.
Do you think the turtle is purposely there because of the turtles from Rocky?
Oh no, I didn't think about that. It's just like, but like those kind of scenes just seem super superfluous. And like you said, then you get Ray Liotta's character who's accepting Figgis is accepting the bag from the bomb squad character
to burn down his house.
To burn down his house, but you don't know at the beginning. You think it's maybe drugs. Like you get that he's dirty, but then you also have him shouting at Harvey Keitel, basically saying what's going on.
Yeah, you don't really
He's
know.
Like, I'm going to help you get this guy. And then he doesn't help you get this guy.
Yeah, and then the mob angle pops in at the end. Oh, this really is run by the mob. But it's like the mob's not.
It's barely mentioned.
You just toss that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, you get the scene where Ray Liotta's like, you want to get him? You go diagonal. You go diagonal at him. You don't come head on. You don't go, somebody's runs a red light. No. And it's like, all right, so he's in on this. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, I'm out of town. It's just like, wait, but why did we have that scene where it's just like, all right, now the investigation's going to get going?
Yeah.
And here's what made me the most mad.
Oh, okay.
They're looking at this small town, looking for Superboy. They didn't think to check the freaking water tower to see if maybe he was there. And you got to have that shot where Sylvester Stallone goes, huh.
Well, he gets told. Kathy Moreira,
that's right. He doesn't even figure it out.
Tells him, yeah.
It's just like, come on. And
I'm his only chance.
And then we get that shot of the water tower and they walk away. And that's just like, no one's checking the friggin' water tower. So dumb. It was just like, come on.
Well, the whole idea. So the plot of the thing is that Babbage Rapaport's character is called Superboy because he had saved 2 kids from a fire or something or other. I don't know what.
Right.
And 3 kids, excuse me.
Oh, it was 2.
No, they said 5. He says 3.
Oh, then he says 3. Okay, yeah.
He's driving back from a strip club, some kind of like they had like a party.
Right.
And these guys like bump into his car for some unknown reason. And then he proceeds to shoot at them.
Because they pop up he's kind of drunk and they use their steering wheel club.
Which is stupid.
As a fake gun.
Which is really bad to do.
Right.
But he shoots out the car and then they stop and then it blacks and then it comes back and like apparently he unloads his clips into them. Because they have like gunshots all over. Gunshot wound, yeah. No, but they didn't show the just in the back windshield, but they weren't hit. I thought I thought that I thought
because that's why they spin out because they get shot and then he hits them.
So then so they pretend he falls. Keitel hides him.
He's like, they had a gun. I swear they had a gun.
And then he's like, whatever his plan was to do,
we'll drop an Uzi. They did have a gun.
Right, not even that, but like also but because that one guy wouldn't play along
the ambulance driver
wouldn't play along.
Responder was like, you can't do that. You planted that.
So then Superboy, he goes, he's going to jump or he doesn't jump, but Keitel says he jumps, but he hides him. Ray hides him, takes him back to Garrison. And then they're going to do what? Relocate him. The mom's
going to give him a new identity. And that's what Keitel's hoping. But then he gets told, no, we're not doing that.
You can't do that. We got to find a body. So here's the problem. This is my biggest issue. And the same thing I went to back in the entire time Scrub. Do you have a party
where 100 people see him
at your house? Yeah. Where you see Superboy and Babbage. And at the end of the party, the idea is to drown him in your pool and then toss him in the river. Everybody has just seen him.
Yeah, not take him for a ride. Like, let's go. We got to get you life now.
How you're concerned when Joey Randone is going to rat on you, the one guy that sees you doing it. But never mind, the 75 people in your house that have seen him are going to be like, oh, he's dead. How'd that happen?
I think the whole thing should have been stopped when the ambulance driver throws the Uzi, and like clearly he doesn't have a problem telling these guys off. So he tells De Niro they had an Uzi,
and everybody other than
the situation's done.
Everybody other than the 2 ambulance drivers or 2 EMT guys on that bridge are bad. Are all live in Garrison? Or all? I mean, everybody there lives in
Everyone's
Garrison.
that corrupt. Yeah. I mean, even if they were like, all right, we're going to go along with that. As soon as the ambulance driver guy's like, no, those cops aren't going to go, oh yeah, I'll risk everything.
Yeah.
No, they're going to be like, okay,
I'll walk down that road of disbelief, suspension of disbelief a little bit, but like, you're really testing the limits here of just what I'm supposed to buy. I don't buy. I can't buy into that.
What about when they pull them over? When we first, like Freddie and Cindy Betts, Janine Garofalo's character.
Oh, right.
They pull the Keitel's car over.
You get a new car?
Okay, get down in the back seat. And then she's looking at him like a little kid at the back of a station wagon.
I don't.
Oh, like what? You're a cop.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the notes I have here, but there's no other notes on this, is that there are heavy reshoots on this film all the way up to the release date.
I don't.
So I think there was a lot of problems with the movie, but that's the only note I have.
It's just like, I like Robert De Niro in this movie because I think he's not very Robert De Niro-ish, and his haircut's terrible.
Well, do you go?
I don't like the scene where he goes to the town for no reason.
Oh, after
I thought I'd check it out. I heard
the
good
funeral.
things. After the funeral, he's buying a coffee. I'm like, why are you even in here?
Well,
why is this?
Well, because he's going to see Freddie, but he also has that one line which I actually like. Where he's like, "You may be law enforcement, but you're not a cop." It's like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
He tells Freddie that.
Freddie, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. And then he has the hissy fit because the mayor shuts him down.
Right. And then but then Freddie's coming in with evidence and he's like, oh, how I need this guy to screw up. No, all you need to do is have this guy work with you and you get a little bit of evidence. The case is reopened.
If he starts causing problems, we might have a case again. He just brings the guy in.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problems. He just does your job.
Yeah. What kind of problems? Because if he causes serious problems, the case is even worse.
Did you notice at the end, though, when he's coming in, there's a shot where De Niro comes out and he puts his jacket on. He just comes out. It's a one shot where he comes out of and you notice that his mustache is longer?
Oh, I did not notice that.
There's a one shot. He comes out and he puts his jacket on like he sees it. And then they cut to the shot where he comes in. He's like, oh, let him go. Like, in a shorter. He came back and reshot that, but he wouldn't cut his mustache because he was shooting Jackie Brown and he was getting ready for that. So like he wouldn't shave. He's like, no, I'm not shaving this.
I mean, I really didn't notice it. So I guess it
was so quick, but it's like, oh God, how many reshoots did we do here?
Just so much of the movie, just like.
Well, Stallone says that this film, he had a lot of fun making this film. Well, it's great.
Well, you're working with legends.
Yeah, but he claimed it hurt his career even further.
I remember I've seen this movie, but I had forgotten a lot of the scenes. But I do remember this is like the end of his career for a long time. And it took Rocky Balboa to kind of come back from it. This was like.
What else was he in?
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
I mean, I like Cobra, but Cobra's so ridiculous. Like, there's movies.
Cobra's super early though.
But like, so Rocky, and then what? Like, what? Rambo? He comes back and does Rambo.
Demolition Man. Tango and Cash.
Well, Demolition Man was 90.
I want to say 95.
I was gonna say 91. But late 80s, early 90s, Stallone is still out there doing stuff. Judge Dredd was 95.
That sounds about right.
So
Demolition Man 93.
Okay, so 95 was Judge Dredd, right? 97 is Copland, and then what happens? What's he doing after Copland?
Nothing. Oh, let's find out.
I'm curious what he think his trajectory was. Maybe he was pitching another Rocky, and they said no, Copland did bad.
Maybe.
Because I know they view Copland as not a success because it's low opening weekend, even though it made back its budget. I guess they were expecting a bigger,
take.
Yeah.
Good Life. I forgot he's a voice in Ants. He did Get Carter in 2000. I don't like Get Carter, but it was like a bigger thing.
No.
Driven, which was really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this was the start of the end.
Didn't he do Assassins?
Assassins is earlier.
Yeah. Okay. That's with Antonio Banderas, right?
Yeah. I remember liking Assassins. Like as an action movie.
Watch it again.
Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's after that. Where is this? Oh no, Assassins is 95.
So that's before this.
Before this. Yeah, he does a bunch of stinkers all in a row. Copland, Get Carter, Driven, I See You.
Ooh.
And then it kind of like, that's it.
What else? That's it?
Then Avenging Angelo, Liberty's Kids, Taxi 3, Shade, Spy Kids 3. He doesn't do big movies.
Oof. Yikes.
Then he does 2 episodes of the show Las Vegas as Frank the Repairman.
Nice.
And then, 2006 Rocky Balboa. That's when he comes back. That's Rocky Balboa, Rambo, The Expendables.
Oh, that's when the Expendables kicked in. It was all of them.
Yep. Escape Plan, Grudge Match.
Escape Plan's another
so then
series.
Then he starts doing
did.
the Creed. Then he kind of comes back. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they need to be eviler? Do they need to be more evil?
More evil? I think they're too evil. I think I should be. When he's like, yo, who's protecting? We go out there, we risk our life. It's like I should feel for them. I should, like, Superboy is clearly doesn't want the setup. He's clearly kind of a good cop. He made a mistake.
Right.
And he's willing to pay for the mistake. We don't have to do this. I thought they had a gun. I swear they had a gun. And he's like, he's sad, but he's like, he's not necessarily like, let's get me out of this. Let's plant drugs. And like, but he's the only one. Everyone else is a bad cop. And it's just ridiculous. No one's else is a hero cop. We don't know anybody. Well, we know Ray Liotta's partner didn't want to do any of this. He was a good cop.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Liotta, Figgies. He ends up having this, he's torn. He's not the worst cop, but everyone's a shade of bad cop. And it's just like, I should be able to be like, yeah, okay. I want to know that during the day they're heroes and maybe at night they're not. Like Vic Mackey in The Shield.
Mm-hmm.
He's a terrible, dirty cop, but he saves lives. And you see him doing all these heroic things as well. And you're torn at the end of the show. Like, man, he is a terrible human being and he's a monster. But is he the monster we need? And we don't get that in this. It's like, I don't think we need them to be worse. I think we need to see scenes where they do things that make us like, are they necessary? Like, we don't get that. Like, that's what I want.
Right. Well, there can be.
Or I want Freddy to not be so dumb.
Also, I mean, with the exception of Ray Liotta, I mean, I know you have that shootout at the end, and I guess you have to have that shootout. But it just seems that all the cops are so willing to go along with this plan.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, and Robert Patrick just looks like a dirty cop with his mustache.
His pedo stash.
Yeah. So
but then we don't get like, he seems so one note until after after Joey is like let die. After they let Joey die.
Right.
And you get that like shot of him, like he knows that he's closing the door and pretending to pick the lock. And he knows he lets him drop. And you get that shot where he's looking at Ray going like, what are you doing here? We're killing more cops.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't like.
But no one ever speaks out against Ray.
No one speaks up. He just, other than those 2 like eyeball looks, which maybe it was just Robert Patrick going like, I can't be this evil, right? I can't be like, he shouldn't be this evil. Like, we need that. Like, Ray, why are you doing this, Ray? What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't get any of that.
Well, there's so many, like we already talked about the different storylines. There's so many storylines that I almost think that this is probably a better series if you're going to do something.
I was
like
going to
that.
ask you, would you want to see this remade somehow? Because I think the concept's interesting.
It is, but I don't know if it. I think you're gonna, you have to flesh out everything, and and here's the thing too, you have to like this needs to wrap up at least by 1 season or 2 seasons. Like you can have another baddie or something like that, but like this main one that we're talking about here, don't give me this for 6 seasons.
Oh, 100%. It would have to be not Fargo-esque where it's like super different,
right?
But it would have.
Well, how about this?
Different each time.
Yeah, I mean, tell you right. So like, let's say the first 2 seasons you deal with the Ray Donlin character, and like he has such a stranglehold on everything, and Freddy gets. But once you get rid of him, the mob comes to town, and now you have to deal with the mob on your own, and you're not protected anymore by all the cops in there. And maybe you have a couple cop friends that used to live there that don't like you anymore, that you need their help to come back. Like that's where you're going with
or
this.
Ray is the big bad of the series,
right?
But he's not in any different season until maybe the last season.
Or he's
not the big bad.
Or he goes to prison he leaves and comes back. Yeah, whatever.
Like,
yeah.
He's the overarching nemesis, but he's not the main guy in each.
No. The inciting incident of season 1 would be the Babbage stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Season 2 would have a different inciting incident and stuff like
and
that.
I would the inciting incident could be Figgis is burning down his house, like stuff like that. Like you have characters that you set up that you like, and then they do dirty things.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that I mean, although I do like there's a couple things I want to talk about the final fight scene, but the final gun battle. But the one thing I like is when Figgis pops up and shoots, and he's got the cigarette in his mouth. He's just like,
who cares?
Of course I did though. Yeah, he's just like, he comes up as so badass, just comes out of his car and just starts firing, as only Ray Liotta can do. That's one thing. The second thing is Noah Emmerich's character, the deputy, Bill Geisler.
Right.
When they're about to transport Superboy to the city, he's like, his wife, he's like, well, she's pregnant, man. He's like, no, I go home. It's like, this is your job. Like, you're fired. You're fired.
Oh, 100%. Well, he can't because now he lost his other deputy as well. But I get it.
But come on.
Yeah. But like, that's the whole thing is like, you're in Copland, so you're always supposed to be safe. Your job's a joke. And he's happy with his job being a joke. And then when it gets serious, it's like, oh, no.
But that's another layer of a character that we just don't investigate further.
100%. You know? I also I like some of the shooting stuff, but I really...
It's not that great. No, it's not.
And it really should be more like a Western. The fact that you have, I love the shot. You have Superboy in prison, in the jail cell, and you're loading the shotgun up. I'm like, this is going to end with a Wild West shootout, which is what I slightly remembered.
It felt very, yes.
It's like Unforgiven. And
it felt very much like a Western. Like, I'm going to take him out. Yes.
And I got to get him out by sunrise.
And that's a much more dynamic ending where he's walking him out and they're all waiting for him. I feel like they grab him, they pull him back to the house just so that we can set up the scene where he walks up and
just so we can have another shootout.
Right. It's really put upon. It's a really just kind of like, oh, we have to do this because of plot point, and we want to have a cool way. This is what we really want to end it.
The whole thing is once they grab him, pop him now. Pop him. You're going to drown him in a pool. Yeah. Kill him. Why are you keeping him at this house? It's done.
I don't. And I think that the Robert Patrick character, Freddie needs to fight him a one-on-one.
100%. You have all this stuff where he's been degrading him this whole movie.
Harvey Keitel and I don't know I can't blank on the other guy's name. The older couple. They're both older men. They're both in their late 50s, early 60s.
Oh yeah.
They don't. They're firing their guns they're too. They wouldn't be on the job ananymore. Number one, they're too old to be on the job. They would have retired or they would have taken their pension.
They'd be on their pension. Yeah.
So they wouldn't be on the job. So Freddie having a gunfight with them makes no sense.
Plus the fact when he's hiding in the back of the car, and it's like, you're not going to know when. You're not going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, now he is. Yeah. Now he's going to be super aware all the time. Why would you even say that?
Right.
Take him out or don't take him out. But what are you being an idiot for? You're a cop. You solve cases for life. You're supposed to be you should be good at crime.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really confused me is the scene where, oh man, was it Method or Redman? I can't remember. Method, yeah. Where he's attacking.
They're fighting on the roof. Yeah.
And it's like, you see his partner's injured. And it's like, I was like, am I missing the beginning of this? Where it's like, give up, man. Yeah. Just say you quit.
Yeah.
So are you working with Ray? Because I got that impression that he was working with Ray just trying to get Joey to quit.
No idea.
And when he decides he's still going to fight.
No idea.
It was just like, I didn't understand it.
Let's talk about also Ray on the force still at an advanced age. And he's still in uniform. He's still a uni. He's not even a detective. He's not up in the ranks. I
think that's the whole point. I don't think anybody's a detective in.
So why? So they can live in Copland and be dirty?
Yeah.
You'd think that the mob would want people on the upper echelons.
Oh yeah. You would also try to get some IA guys or something. Yeah.
No. It's.
I love that the IA is that's the one case. Go take a lunch. Get that I'm like one of my notes is, well, I got the other case. I'm working on another guy. Why do I have to leave?
Got the Garrison case?
My
the
case
Garrison
is still
file?
working.
Give me the files. I feel like that scene felt like, what am I doing in the scene, James? And he's like, Robert, you're just gonna. I'll figure something out. I'll do it. I'll figure. That scene felt very much like De Niro just be like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I think you're gonna like it.
I feel like. Scene I do like. I feel like that's also the case where him and Stallone, or when he comes back and says, I want to work. I feel like that's allowed to De Niro too. He's like, it's too late.
With the lunch, that scene was, so the note I have is that scene was the first scene they shot together. And it was De Niro who ad-libbed the lunch because they were just having lunch. And he's like, I'm going to bring this into the scene.
Well, that's yeah.
So they just
it felt like that, but it felt perfect.
Yeah. But again, I think, that goes back to an experienced director. Maybe the actors are pushing their weight around a little bit, which is fine. I get it. I completely understand that. You have to make those kind of concessions. Plus, you have Robert De Niro. You're not going to say no to Robert De Niro's ideas.
He did a good scene there. So yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
But if that angry scene is also Robert De Niro, that's dumb. That's too much.
That scene.
Go to lunch. Those guys aren't working on your case. Oh yeah. Those guys aren't working on that case.
So the scene when we were talking in the beginning of the movie, where I do, and you blew it, that scene. That line was a line that was often repeated by me and my friends in the 90s.
Really?
We would always talk about that. But you blew it. We'd always say that. I as soon as he said that, I'm like, hey. Yeah, so it's just funny how like you forget where things come from, like when you're with your buddies and you say it, and then all of a sudden it pops up again. Like, hey, I know we had that in an episode a while ago where I was talking about
Phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's
so
damn right.
It's funny. It's really we're doofuses. So let me get you some reviews. Roger Ebert wrote that there is a rough balance between how long a movie is, how deep it goes, and how much it can achieve. That balance is not found in Copland, and the result is too much movie for the running time. Ooh, you agree with
I do agree with that because I think the running time is too short, but the movie feels crazy long. But I feel like you need more movie to flesh out the movie that's already too long because it's just like you don't get enough time with people, but you have so many different storylines and you compress it into an hour 44. And it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Janet Maslin from the New York Times, quote, "The strength of Copland is in its hard-edged novelistic portraits, which pile up furiously during the film's dynamic opening scenes. Yet, if the price of Mangold's casting ambitions is a story that can't finally match its marquee value, that value is still inordinately strong." Whoops, I can't say that. "Everywhere the camera turns in its tense, volatile drama, it finds enough interest for a truckload of conventional Hollywood fare. Whatever its limitations, Copland has talent to burn."
I mean, it's
like she doesn't want to trash anybody because she probably likes everybody in the movie.
I will say, I can't say anybody's performances are bad outside of maybe Stallone just making the wrong choices. Everyone's got strong performances.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason the movie's watchable.
Everybody in the movie is really good, and like you said, performance wise, even Stallone, we just question that casting.
It's the choice that he makes, yeah.
But the plot and the story are all over the place.
Yep.
And they don't. So like that's where the movie falters. But that's nothing to do with like you could pull scenes out of this film and just have clips and show them, and people are like, I want to see that movie.
If you put this on Instagram Reels and be like, "What's this? What's movie?"
movies?
Like,
yeah,
what's this movie?
And then you'd be disappointed because you'd be like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
Because you'd be lost.
As a whole, this movie's bad.
You'd be lost. So Peter Travers from Rolling Stone actually praised Stallone, saying his performance builds slowly but achieves a stunning payoff when Freddie decides to clean up his town. Freddie awakes to his own potential, and it's exhilarating to watch the character and the actor revive in unison. Nearly down for the count in the movie ring, Stallone isn't just back in the fight. He's a winner.
How much does Stallone pay him to write that?
I love you, Sly.
I just don't agree with that because I feel like you get that right before Ficus goes, "Are you going diagonally?" It's like, oh, all right, Freddie's really going to start doing stuff. And then I spend another 20 minutes where Freddie doesn't do anything and goes along with whatever Ray says and goes right up to Ray and goes, IA was talking to me. It's like, Freddie, what are you doing? Why?
And you blew
it again. It's just like, oh, that's so dumb. And then like at the end, he doesn't redeem himself at the end because I want that Wild West shootout. And I get that's not Stallone's fault, but the movie fails Stallone at the end there because I feel like if I had that Unforgiven Wild West sheriff's office shootout,
you'd at least have that.
I'd at least have that where I'm like, Freddie did good at the end. Like, you made Freddie a hero, and you don't get that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, also Freddie's not getting his hearing back. His brain is bleeding.
No, his eardrum pops. It'll come back. It comes back. So, I mean, are you even recommending this to people?
If you really love Keitel and De Niro and Robert Patrick, who's like a giant Robert Patrick stan, but okay. Michael Rapaport,
everyone from The Sopranos.
Everybody in The Sopranos, every like Italian American actor you can think of who would do any kind of New York City cop thing, all in one New York City cop movie. It's interesting. Like I said, the plot could be better, but it's got, if you like, we always say, it's got bones. If you strip this down, like if we did our pitch meeting show that we always talk about,
right?
I would. This would be great because you could strip it down to the bone and rebuild it as like its own new beautiful house. The bones are great, but it needs to be completely taken down and redone. So
you're building your house out of bones?
Out of bones. I don't know. Other than like if you're like that hardcore into like 90s cop kind of. Gotta see these guys in a role maybe I haven't seen before. I don't know if I'm recommending this to anybody because I don't know if anybody's going to get anything out of it. I think people are going to have the same issues we do.
Yeah, I mean, you can say performances are great. You can't really recommend this in terms of its story. You can say like, oh, it's got a lot of good people in there that are doing some cool stuff, but the story is just all over the place. So don't follow that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, if
You got to watch it because Robert De Niro's eating his lunch.
I mean,
and he's delivering some great lines.
for the longest time, this film has always been known as the one where Stallone kind of gets serious, and you know what I mean. It's like it was a stretch for him, not a stretch, but it was a chance he took, and it was. I always assumed it was looked favorably on, but now looking back, and even my own recommendations and recollections, excuse me, like I said, I question whether I think he's just not right for that role, and
I think the swap that the original roles they wanted would have made this film better and would have gotten them more recognition.
I think it needs to be a no name, but yeah, I hear you. I think somebody that people don't know about too much.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, so we're saying it's forgotten because of that. It's just not a well told story.
It's just not a well told story. It's got so many great actors, but just watch them in their own different.
But don't take our word for it. Go watch it.
You might find your own forgotten.
And again, we could be wrong. Maybe we're missing something. I don't think we are. I think it's it's just a general feel like something's off
Right.
in this movie, and it's the plot and it's the story. There's too much of it. There's not enough of it. They're not connected. It doesn't make any sense. Like the questions that we're coming up with are just, we want answers and we're not finding them in the story. So we're trying to figure them out.
I mean, if you're really into like cop things and you're like, oh, this time because I just really love cop stuff. It's like, okay, that's great. Like I really love spy stuff, or I really love like science fiction, like space stuff. But like, there's just so many, especially cop movies and cop stories. You can do so. And we talk about that on our Striking Distance episode. There's just so many of them. They're in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 80s, that you can find something with this exact style, this exact filmmaking look, some of these exact actors that are just going to be better for you than what you're being given here. And you could say, yes, I like it, but I can almost guarantee you're going to be like, but yes, it's not as good as this movie or this movie or this movie. Mm-hmm. From maybe some of these same actors playing very similar roles. I question also, everyone he did this movie for scale. Usually that means that the script is great. I think maybe it's just like, hey, this person's doing it. Oh, I really want to work with them.
Yeah.
Now this person, oh man, both of them,
they've got to work together before. They've all worked together. Keitel, De Niro, Liotta, they've worked together already.
Maybe Stallone was that glue. Oh man, I've never worked with Sly.
I don't know. It's one of these movies that upon looking back to it, I just really question. I have so many more questions now after watching this.
Before they read the script, maybe they read a treatment, or just they were told the plot and they were like,
maybe
interesting.
Or maybe there was a great script, but when they came in and they all had different suggestions and they were all getting notes from people.
It's a chain reation situation.
I mean,
this movie was not the movie that I saw. Where's my character?
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I think for those who are kind of focused on the industry and the business, and you kind of know the story of the Weinsteins and Miramax, and Mangold talks about how they're just like, I think his quote was, he describes the company as thuggish and corrupt, and like the Weinsteins exerted a massive amount of influence over his final cut. So this isn't just him.
Right.
This
is another movie where that happened as well, right?
Yeah.
The Weinsteins really wanted to change it up.
Like I know that he was forced to have that voiceover in the beginning by De Niro.
I forgot about the my first note is feels love in this.
So that was forced upon him by the Weinsteins. I don't know if it was Bob or Harvey, in terms of just kind of to explain to everybody, because I don't think people are going to know. I'd
have been okay with like,
and they took this film and they screened it for film experts. They call them. They gathered film experts who had made, and these are experts that had made cop films, to critique the movie so that Mangold would go back and improve the film. So like, it wasn't probably a pleasurable experience for Mangold. And I mean, he wrote this film because it was based on like, he lived in a town where there's a lot of cops. And so it was like his kind of movie. He brought it to Miramax. Yeah, let's do it. And now you're just like, no, we're going to, and then take over what you're doing.
This way, not this way.
So this film is probably, the script was probably much different than what we saw on screen, which is unfortunately, that's what 80% happens all the time. 75% in Hollywood.
It's a lot. Yeah, all that interference.
Go figure. I mean, like,
very rarely is it good. Although there have been a couple of times where we've done episodes where I'm like, that's for the better.
Well, there's always happy accidents, but everyone's a director. Everyone thinks they know what's best.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I think this film is probably
victim of that.
Yeah, a little bit, amongst other things. But I think all of our complaints, I think, probably stem from that note. So we'll just leave it at the feet of the Weinsteins and blame them for their. Yeah. So I think I think they've got other problems we need to worry about anyway. So, well, I mean, come on,
for long.
That's not appropriate. That'll probably be beeped out. Sure.
Oh, fuck them.
Whoa, Mike, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You're watching, it's called a dramatic pause.
Oh, sorry.
Wherever you're watching us, listen to us, drop a like, give a comment. Do you like Copland? Are we blind? What's your favorite Sylvester Stallone, Harvey Keitel, Michael Rapaport? What other movies have you seen these guys in that's better? Or is Copland just amazing and we got it all wrong? Yell at us in the comments.
No.
I know you will. If you want to support our show, other than liking and watching, which is perfectly fine and helps us a lot, we do have a Patreon. You get exclusive episodes. You get early access to episodes. Sometimes you get episodes early. We also have a merch store where you can get some items and some swag from us. And yeah, that's what I got.
And join us next week as season 19 ends. Winter's coming. Season 20, which we're not naming it. So, and so our next season, season 20 is coming. That's right. We're a brand new list of 13 episodes that we got ready for you, or we haven't recorded yet, but we will, or no, we have, I don't know. Anyways. So next week we're starting off with our first pick, Ad Astra, the 2019 film with Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones. Butler saw it.
I did not see it.
Butler did not see this.
Could possibly be our newest film we've done.
No, really? No, it's still,
it's still
Malignant.
Oh, that's right. Ain't nothing gonna be Malignant.
2021.
Yep.
Yeah, not yet. No, we'll try to get some newer ones in there for you if you want. So that's next week. Ad Astra. Season 20's got a ton of films. I'm sure we've already put it out there, but we're excited, I guess, right? Yeah,
I'm pumped.
He's pumped.
I mean, I am excited to see Ad Astra because I don't remember. I think it was just really busy at the theater at the time.
Yeah.
And you had just left, so I didn't really have my Thursday groove of watching movies anymore. It was just really sad. But I am excited to watch like a space movie. I think like there's not enough of them, which is something I'll probably bring up 1,000 times.
There is enough of them. You just don't watch the bad ones. Watch the bad ones. There's plenty.
There's plenty of streamer stuff. I mean, like theatrical run stuff, space stuff nowadays.
I'm gonna have to fine if that's. I will now that I know that I will try to have a list prepared that we can talk about, or just come with a list of movies that we can chat about.
All right.
That's next week, Ad Astra. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.
You blew it.
You had your chance and you blew it. That guy can really the Garrison file. Shut the Garrison file. Shut it down. Turn it off. So angry.
I'm going to grow that mustache.
Ooh.